Although our history has been sanitized, come with me as we shine a black light in the home we call American history, showing the DNA that blacks have left. It's June 17th, and welcome to another day in Black Light history. I'm glad you're here. I'm your host, Big A. Let's get into it. Thomas Miller was born on this day in 1849. Miller was one of 9 South Carolina black legislators elected to U.S. Congress before 1900. Representing South Carolina's 7th District, he would serve one term before Jim Crow voting laws took effect. He would later serve in the state legislature and Senate. James Weldon Johnson was born on this day in 1871. A graduate of Atlanta University and a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, Johnson, under President Theodore Roosevelt, served as U.S. Consul to Venezuela and Nicaragua between 1906 and 1913. Johnson would return to New York and become a field secretary for the NAACP. In 1917, he would organize the Silent March through New York, a 10,000-person march protesting the use of lynchings in America. He would become the NAACP's executive secretary in 1920. A strong supporter of the Harlem Renaissance, Johnson was a brilliant writer himself, publishing poems and essays detailing black life in America. He would coin the term Red Summer, referencing the wave of race riots and lynchings during the year 1919. Johnson would write the words to Live Every Voice and Sing, and his brother would compose the music, and the song would become known as the Black National Anthem. Johnson would become the first black professor to teach at New York University. In 1930, Johnson would begin his tenure at Fisk University teaching creative literature. He would hold this position until his untimely death in 1938. While visiting his family's summer home in Maine, a car his wife was driving was struck by a train. Johnson died at the age of 67. James Weldon Johnson was awarded the NAACP Spingarn Medal in 1925. In 1933, he won the W.E.B. Du Bois Prize for Negro Literature. He held an honorary master's degree from Atlanta University and honorary doctorates from Howard University and Talladega College. Several schools, libraries, and buildings are named in his honor. Since 2021, July 17th in the state of Maine is James Weldon Johnson Annual Observance Day. A precursor to the Longview race riots, on this day in 1919, Lemuel Walters was lynched in Longview, Texas. Arrested for having relations with a white woman, Walters was whipped, then arrested. A mob of up to 15 white men abducted Walters from the jail and shot him to death. His body was later found near the train tracks. On this day in 1927, Joseph Upchurch was lynched in Paris, Tennessee. Sheriff Caldwell had attempted to arrest Upchurch, but during the scuffle, the sheriff was shot and died. A deputy would take Upchurch to a cabin and lock him inside instead of taking him back to town. Later, a mob of 50 men surrounded the cabin and opened fire. Upchurch was killed in the barrage of bullets. Happy 91st birthday to former U.S. Secretary of Education Rod Page. Under the George W. Bush administration, Page is the first ever black education secretary in the U.S. Page is a Navy veteran and brother of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. For 7 years, Page served as superintendent to the Houston Independent School District. Holding a doctorate of education from Indiana University, Bloomington, Page also holds honorary doctorates from IU and the University of Houston. Born on this day in 1933 was National Basketball Hall of Fame power forward Maurice Stokes. An All-American at St. Francis, Stokes would be the 1956 NBA Rookie of the Year. He would lead the league in rebounds in 1957. Stokes is a 3-time All-NBA and All-Star pick. He is also inducted into the College Basketball Hall of Fame. The Sacramento Kings and St. Francis have both retired his jersey. Happy 86th birthday to Pro Football Hall of Fame linebacker Bobby Bell. As a Minnesota Golden Gopher, Bell would join Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated and become a 2-time All-American and a 1962 Outland Trophy winner. In Bell's sophomore season, the Gophers won the national championship in 1960. He is inducted into the College Football and Rose Bowl Hall of Fames. In his pro career with the Kansas City Chiefs, Bell won the 1966 AFL Championship and Super Bowl IV in 1970. An 8-time either All-Pro or All-AFL selection, Bell was selected to the NFL's 1970s All-Decade Team, the NFL 100th Anniversary All-Time Team, and the AFL All-Time Team. The Kansas City Chiefs have retired his number 78. On this day in 1957, the Tuskegee boycotts began. After the state of Alabama gerrymandered the district in Tuskegee, Alabama, effectively leaving only 10 black voters in the city, a boycott of all white businesses began. The boycott will last until the old district lines were put back into place. Blacks would drive 80 miles round trip to Montgomery to support the boycott. It would end 4 years later after the Supreme Court found the lines were unconstitutional. Happy 60th birthday to Pro Football Hall of Fame center DerMonte Dawson. A 6-time All-Pro selection, Dawson played his entire 13-year career with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's inducted into the team's Hall of Fame and is a member of the NFL 1990s All-Decade Team. Born on this day in 1968 was gymnast Diane Durham. In 1983, Durham became the first African-American athlete to win the U.S. National Championship Women's All-Around in Gymnastics. She would be Marta and Bella Crowley's first elite student. Injuries would keep her out of the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles. Durham would pass away in 2021 at the age of 52. Happy 45th birthday to women's tennis great Venus Williams. Williams is a 7-time singles Grand Slam champion, a 14-time doubles Grand Slam champion, and a 2-time mixed doubles Grand Slam champion. She is also a 5-time Olympic medalist, 4 of them gold. Happy 38th birthday to rapper Kendrick Lamar. With 4 platinum albums and 19 platinum singles, Lamar is one of the most decorated artists alive. K-Dot has 22 Grammy Awards, a Primetime Emmy Award, 5 American Music Awards, 37 BET Hip Hop Awards, nominations for both the Oscars and Golden Globes, and won a Pulitzer Prize for Music for his album Damn. Damn, along with 2 other of his albums, are on Rolling Stone magazine's 500 Greatest Albums of All Time list. Lamar performed the halftime show at this year's Super Bowl 59. Currently, Lamar is on tour supporting his latest smash album, GNX. On this day in 1992, the Philadelphia 76ers traded future Hall of Fame power forward Charles Barkley to the Phoenix Suns. In his first season with the Suns, Barkley led the team to the NBA Finals and would win the league MVP award. On this day in 1994, Hall of Fame running back O.J. Simpson did not turn himself into the police in the murder case of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson. Simpson, with the help of former teammate Al Cowens, led police on an hour-and-a-half-long nationally televised slow-speed police chase through the city of Los Angeles. Simpson would eventually surrender himself and stand trial for her murder. On this day in 1997, jazz musician and composer Wynton Marsalis released his album Blood on the Fields. The album would become the first ever jazz album to win the Pulitzer Prize for Music. Happy 25th birthday to Olympic gold medalist Masai Russell. The University of Kentucky graduate won a gold medal at the 2024 Paris Games in the 100-meter hurdles. At the time of 12.17 seconds, Russell is the current American record holder in the 100-meter hurdles. On this day in 2000, former lightweight boxing champion Sugar Shane Mosley defeated Oscar De La Hoya at the brand new Staples Center in Los Angeles for the WBC and IBA World Welterweight Championship. Mosley won in a 15-round split decision. On this day in 2003, Abco Records posthumously released the album Portrait of a Legend, 1951 to 1964. The album is a collection of singing legend Sam Cooke's work. The album was critically well received. Rolling Stone magazine ranks it as one of the 500 greatest albums of all time. Today is the 10th anniversary of 21-year-old white supremacist and neo-Nazi Dylan Roof walking into a Bible study at Mother Emanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina, and opening fire. Roof killed 9 people, all black, including Pastor and State Senator Clementa C. Pinckney, and injuring another. Roof was attempting to start a race war, but instead he was convicted of hate crimes and sits on death row in a Terre Haute, Indiana prison. On this day in 2018, playwright Jackie Sibley's Drury's play Fairview opens off-Broadway at the Soho Repertory Theater. The play would win the 2019 Pulitzer Prize for Drama. On this day in 2019, playwright Michael R. Jackson opens his new musical A Strange Loop. The play would open off-Broadway and won a 2020 Pulitzer Prize for Drama. It would later premiere on Broadway in 2022 and would win 2 Tony Awards for Best Musical and Best Book of the Musical. On this day in 2021, President Joseph Biden would sign the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act into law, making June 19th a federal holiday. That concludes today's events. If you've enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe to the channel. And remember, powers try to erase our history, but today can be the day that you achieve something that we can discuss next year on Black Light History.